Tony East here, covering the Pacers for Forbes and Locked On, here to talk Pacers Thunder Game 3, with Game 4 coming up in just a few hours. Hectic days for me, podcasting, writing, the Fever. Caitlin Clark's coming back tomorrow. If you're a Fever person on this channel, of which there are many, the most recent few videos are for you. But we got to talk NBA Finals. Been at all these games. It's been crazy. Game 4 is coming up, and Game 3 was sort of proof of concept to me for the Pacers. What I mean by that, which might sound confusing, is they won the game without needing like a dominant or outlier something, right? I would consider Game 1 their comeback, an outlier comeback, and not that they played so exceptionally well or the Thunder played so exceptionally awful, but it's hard to expect a 15-point swing in one quarter all the time. But in this game, right, they were just simply better than the Thunder for 48 minutes, right? There was no crazy stretch where it felt like, oh man, the Pacers are getting so lucky with this or that. In fact, I would say, yes, the Thunder had 17 turnovers, which might be a little and quite a lot high for them compared to normal, but they were hot from three until the final seconds. They were 50% from deep until 27 seconds to go in the game. In fact, the fourth quarter, the Thunder were, I believe, 0 for 4 from deep, if my box score would update. That's correct. They were 10 for 18 entering the fourth quarter. You could argue they had the outlier game. The Pacers won a finals game shooting 9 of 27 from deep against one of the best defenses in the league. They really found something in this game in a lot of key ways, and the Pacers really were warm from three late as they came back. They were down 5 entering the fourth. Comeback is a bit of a strong term. I'm rambling to say the Pacers just simply played better ball without an outlier thing. And I think that a lot had to go their way for that to happen. What I mean by go their way is they had a lot of guys play well the way they needed to play well in the series. Many have pointed to Tyrese Haliburton because he was the story of Game 2 for being poor, even though I did not talk about him that way. I thought it was more a team thing, that he was not playing particularly well or putting numbers on the board. Many have pointed to this, that, or the other. I think the answer is just the bench, being simply exceptional in every way and doing things that only the guys on the Pacers bench can do for their team. What I mean by that is specifically the face of it all. Ben Mathurin, for example, was just sublime. 27 points in 22 and a half minutes in this game for Benedict Mathurin. His highest-scoring playoff game ever. Came in the game and immediately was impactful, as Rick Carlisle pointed out post-game. I wrote this in my story, talking about the game and the little details that were huge for the Pacers. Free throws, threes, getting to the cup, 4 boards, decent defense on his way to 27. He scored in a variety of ways. What matters here is the Thunder are hard to get into the paint against. Ben Mathurin can get by guys. He can get in the paint. He can score in that way. The jumper will come and go. 2 for 3 from deep. He had a couple long twos that you just kind of wonder, should he be really taking that? Is that something that they hope is there all the time? Probably not. But he was awesome. He was nails at a lot of stuff that only he can do. Isolation scoring, face-up game stuff that the Pacers don't typically want to rely on, but in this game, he was not doing them in a way that really bogged down the Pacers' offense or made you think that he was forcing it. Just tremendous. No one else on the Pacers can do that stuff consistently at the guard spot. Pascal Siakam can do them, and he was also quite good, but not in the same way that Ben Mathurin does, and that's what made him so exceptional. TJ McConnell does stuff nobody can do. He also can get into the paint better than most on this Pacers team in this series, and he did on his way to 5 assists and 3 made shots for 10 points. He was a plus 12. The 10 and 5 is great. Like, that's a nice backup point guard stat line. The number that matters for him is the 5 steals. And they are huge, one, because, again, the turnover number for the Thunder was quite high compared to normal in this game. But he had provided pressure in a way that was important at his size. It's hard for him to have an offensive impact in this series that's huge or significant, because of the way OKC plays defense. But he was sensational on the defensive end. 3 inbound steals on inbounds passes. Crazy huge plays, both because they scored on 2 of them and they just ignite the crowd. Them being at home just made them huge plays for momentum, even beyond the scoreboard. Really great TJ McConnell game, making memorable, huge plays. And Ben Shepherd made 2 shots. They were both very outside of the norm of Ben Shepherd makes. An elbow pull-up 2 and a crazy in-traffic layup. His defense is always important in the series just because he wears guys down. And Obi Toppin, the Pacers have won the 2 games he was good in and lost the game he was bad in his finals. 4 for 5 on 2s, missed all his 3s, but still 6 boards. Gazelle-like pace addition to the game. He was quite good. He had the putback dunk that sealed the game for the Pacers and was the loudest I've ever heard Gainbridge Fieldhouse. 48, I can't remember. I believe it was 49 bench points for the Pacers in this game. They dominated that battle, 18 for the Thunder, and they rolled because of that. Aaron Nesmith was still important, right? He plays great defense. He shot 3 for 5 for 7 points. Andrew Nembhard was 3 for 5 for 8 points. Miles Turner was 3 for 11 with 9 points. 3 starters combined to make 9 shots. Ben Mathurin made 9 shots, right? None of those 3 starters I mentioned were like poor. Miles Turner was pretty poor until late. He had a huge play to stop Chet Holmgren that got the crowd into it. But the bench was awesome on a game that the starters were kind of like, they were fine. They were pretty good. And that was just so important for the Pacers to have that kind of proof of concept win. And they don't need their starters to be exceptional. They have a lot of guys who can be impactful in the series. And, of course, it helps that Tyrese Haliburton was fantastic. He got shots he liked. He took 8 threes. He took 9 twos. 22, 11, and 9, 1 off of a triple-double. If he cleans up his turnovers, which will eat him up at night, he can be even better. Right, Miles Turner was not finishing well at all. He had a huge double block on Chet Holmgren late. He had 5 blocks in total, but he's under the weather. A forgettable game for him, but the huge stops late. Pascal Siakam, 21, 6, and 4. He's probably been the best Pacer in the series on aggregate, although Haliburton has the moment in this game. He was huge too. He had a huge stop on Shea late where he stayed down, didn't fall for the shot fake, slid, forced a miss. And Aaron Nesmith has just been rock solid all series. Andrew Nembhard's defense on Shea was phenomenal, and the Pacers get it done. Their fourth quarter defense, the other story of this game, they had 40 points in the second quarter. That was huge. That was kind of a combination of the bench and starters, offensive successes and ceilings blending. I've already talked about both of those things. Fourth quarter defense for the Pacers, 18 points allowed. The Thunder were tied, I believe, with 6.5 minutes to go. Could barely score down the stretch. Pacers defense on Shea was great. They stayed with other players. J-Dub killed them a little bit throughout the game, but even he was muted in that stretch. It was their best defensive stretch of the series. The Thunder have had trouble getting to their usual ball movement. They've had too many turnovers. They felt the pressure. They looked gassed at the end of that game. And that's how the Pacers won Game 3. New things. Great bench play. They'll need that. Not hope. Need that to continue to win 2 more games in this series. They had a defensive peak that they hadn't hit yet in this series. They need to hit that a few more times throughout this series. They need better Miles Turner. He was still important in that he was that fulcrum at the top of the key that I talked about a lot heading into Game 3 with his passing, getting Tyrese Haliburton the ball on the move, but he's got to finish plays more effectively. But beyond all that, the Pacers, without someone going crazy for 30, without hot shooting, without a ridiculous ball control game, beat OKC. And they did it at home, and they're up 2-1 in the finals. 2 more wins away from their first title, but they got to earn them. It's not going to be easy. The Thunder are very good. It's going to be key that they shoot better. It's going to be key that they find ways to get Turner to be more effective, and they need to find some of those defensive peaks for more of a game. I'll be at Game 4 tonight. I'll be at every game of the series. So much more analysis coming on this channel. Caitlin Clark's returning Saturday. Much more on that on this channel and in a story I wrote for the next. So if you're interested in the Fever stuff, check that out too. Thank you guys for watching this one. See ya very soon.